This ISS is tracking UFOs. We're going to watch because this is like a big mother ship. Watch this. All right, we're going to look at this. See these ones over here? Okay, now wait a minute. Look at this. This is a UFO that the ISS is tracking. It's like this is the mothership right there. And I know it looks kind of weird, but over here to the side, let me find them. Where are they at? This is hard for me to navigate this. Right over here, look at these. See these right here, these black things? They're also UFOs that are traveling with it. Look how they're going underneath the clouds. They are a UFO and they're going underneath the clouds. This is not a joke, you all. This is real. We got different types of UFOs. Big black UFOs, small UFOs, and they're in the groups. You all, this is very serious what's taking place. This is a UFO. You can see it's cloaking. It's a different life form is what it is, and it's in the South Atlantic.
Donald Trump. President Trump, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. Good to be with you.
Sir, so when you were in office, you declared an emergency at the border in April of 2020 when you realized the problems you were going to have with the coronavirus. Apprehensions at the border dropped to 16,000 after you made that decision. President Biden's done the exact opposite, and apprehensions at the border are upwards of 200,000. This is a total failure, isn't it?
There has never been anything like it. We had the safest border, the most secure border in the history of our country, and now we have by far the worst. Hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country on a monthly basis, and we're talking about millions of people, millions and millions. And the worst of all is other countries are emptying out their jails and prisoners are coming in, and these are rough prisoners. These are the toughest prisoners you'll find anywhere. And they're coming into our country totally unchecked, and it's a disgrace. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country.
Mr. President, you had a big win, an endorsement of Mike Carey for Congress. Big win for you and your endorsement over there. What are your feelings about 2022 and 2024, if you wouldn't mind, given the Democrats' obvious overreach, defunding the police, inflation out of control? We don't even have a southern border anymore. Your feelings on 2022 and where the Democrats' luck may be?
Well, I feel very good about it. We also had a big win in Texas. So we had two Republicans running. We won 3 months ago, a big one, and we got two Republicans running, no Democrat. And the Democrats that voted, of course, voted against me. But that was a tremendous win. And then we had the big win in Ohio. That was more of a normal election. And Mike won by really a lot. I mean, what he did was fantastic. And he trounced the opposition. And some very good people in that opposition, by the way. But Mike Carey is going to do a fantastic job. He's got an election coming. But I think he's going to do very well in it.
Mr. President, where do you stand on this explosion and reemergence of mandates? You know, we get it. We've heard the science on the vaccine. We get it. It's a serious threat to virus, to at-risk groups. Everybody understands that. You didn't have as much information when you got in office. It was a new virus, obviously. Where do you stand on these mandates?
Well, first of all, could you imagine if I were president right now and we had this massive attack from the coronavirus? You know, now they like to call it, they have new names and they have other new names, but it's exactly what we had. We had the same thing. If that were me, they'd be saying, what a horrible thing, what a horrible job. I don't ever hear that, you know, and these are numbers in some cases that are equivalent to what it was. But we don't hear that. I think I have to be a big vaccine fan because I'm the one that got it done so quickly. We got it done in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 years. They would have never even gotten it done. So I'm a big fan. At the same time, I'm a big fan of our freedoms. And so I'm a big fan. At the same time, I'm a big fan of our freedoms. So I'm a big fan. At the same time, I'm a big fan of our freedoms. And people have to make that choice for themselves. And I would recommend that they get it and they get it done. And they're being protected. And the vaccines turn out to be a a tremendous thing. And I also, though, feel strongly there are some people that do not want to do it. And I really believe in somebody's choice, somebody's freedom. And that's the way it is. The mandates are crazy, and what they're doing with schools now they don't know whether they're going to keep them closed or what are they doing. The teachers union now is in, and that's the way it is. The mandates are crazy, and what they're doing with schools now they don't know whether they're going to keep them closed or what are they doing. The teachers union now is in flux. No, it is. I really believe in somebody's choice, somebody's freedom. And that's the way it is. The mandates are crazy, and what they're doing with schools now they don't know whether they're going to keep them closed or what are they doing. The teachers union now is in flux. All of the things that are happening, people have to get.
We shall redeem our pledge. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
तलवार की नोक पर या एटम बम के डर से कोई हमारे देश को झुकाना चाहे, दबाना चाहे, ये देश हमारा दबने वाला नहीं।
अगर देश को उठना है, पुरुषार्थ करना हो, हम सबको पुरुषार्थ करना हो। मैं अपने आप को उसमें शामिल करता हूँ, अपने जो सहयोगी मिनिस्टर हैं बैठे उन सबको शामिल करता हूँ कि हमको अनवरत परिश्रम करना पड़ेगा तब जाकर देश उठे।
भारत कोई 5 साल, 10 साल, 100 साल जीने का देश नहीं है। हजारों साल जीवित रहा है और हजारों साल और इसको जीवित रहना है।
हिंदुस्तान को कोई नहीं मार सका है आज तक। दुनिया की कई देश की हस्तियां मिट गए, ये देश कभी नहीं मिटा।
विश्व ने देख लिया है कि हम अपने राष्ट्रीय हितों पर आंच नहीं आने देंगे, चाहे वो परमाणु अस्त्र क्षमता विकसित करने की बात हो, चाहे मिसाइल क्षमता विकसित करने की बात, या अपनी मातृभूमि से दुश्मनों को बाहर खदेड़ने की बात।
देश बनता है देश की जनता की दलेरी और हिम्मत से और काम करने की शक्ति से।
अब हम मिलकर हम दुनिया में अपनी अहमियत बड़ी कर सकते हैं, हम दुनिया में एक ताकत बन के उभर सकते हैं। आवश्यकता है हम मिलजुल करके चलें, गरीबी से लड़ाई जीतने का सपना लेकर के चलें।
Ever since 1947, the address to the nation by subsequent prime ministers has become an integral part of the Indian Independence Day celebrations. These speeches from the ramparts of the Red Fort resonate with every Indian and carve a roadmap for the future of the country. On the midnight of August 14, 1947, Jawaharlal Nehru addressed the Constituent Assembly, delivering his famous Tryst with Destiny speech.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
75 years later, that newly freed country is a rising global power, translating Mahatma Gandhi's dream of Swaraj or self-governance into reality. Just a few days ago, on August 9th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a United Nations Security Council open debate, becoming the first Indian PM to do so.
समृद्धि मैरीटाइम ट्रेड के सक्रिय फ्लो पर निर्भर है।
The forum was joined by several heads of state and ministers, including Russia's President Vladimir Putin and US Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Two nations that dominated the world order 7 decades ago when India was a newborn nation. Today, the reality is different. India is claiming its rightful place on the world stage. India is claiming its rightful place on the world stage. Claiming its rightful place on the world stage. The focus of the UN Open Debate was on enhancing maritime security. Interestingly, just 2 days before his forum, India's indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant successfully accomplished its maiden sea voyage. India has now joined a niche group of countries that can indigenously design, build, and integrate a state-of-the-art aircraft carrier. Design, build, and integrate a state-of-the-art aircraft carrier. This is the new India. An Atmanirbhar Bharat.
By subscribing to our channel, you can follow our independent comments on the latest news. The crisis of Iran's return to the 2015 nuclear deal is escalating. CIA Director William Burns, who met with the Israeli government on Wednesday, said it would be difficult and unlikely to get Iran back into negotiations. When Iran's new president, Raisi, took over the administration on August 4th, he clearly expressed that he did not view the nuclear negotiations positively, and President Biden promised to return Iran to nuclear negotiations. Israel, on the other hand, warns the United States at every opportunity to take military action against Iran. Iran's current stance seems to be not returning to negotiations and continuing its nuclear work. The U.S. administration, on the other hand, seems determined to conduct diplomatic relations with Iran in the current situation. In this case, the U.S. administration sees it as valid even if it cannot return Iran to the 2015 nuclear agreement. In other words, it is very unlikely that the U.S. will intervene militarily against Iran. Of course, the possibility of Iran not returning to nuclear negotiations or delaying the situation disturbs and worries Israel very much. Israel does not want another nuclear-armed country in the region and seems determined to try any means necessary for this. The attitude of the CIA director and the U.S. administration probably disturbs the Israeli administration and pushes them to seek other solutions. In this case, it is very likely that the Mossad will step in. Even if Israel cannot get support from the U.S., it can use the Mossad to take a series of actions to slow down Iran's nuclear program process.
Fear and uncertainty in Afghanistan as the Taliban take control again. Thousands scramble to get on the last flights out. What will Taliban rule look like? Canadians helping earthquake-ravaged Haiti.
There's a lot more risk of damage and destruction and people being trapped as a result.
What could the Canadian embassy has? The Afghan president has fled. The government has collapsed. The Canadian embassy has suspended operations. This is the entrance to the compound. It is deserted. So is the U.S. embassy. Contrast when you hear the cheers and clapping here to the gunfire being heard in the streets of Afghanistan tonight. A foreign policy crisis is not how any prime minister plans to start an election campaign. Today, Justin Trudeau saying that he is heartbroken by the situation in Afghanistan and vowing to continue to help the Afghan people, including 20,000 refugees he has promised to bring to Canada. But the Liberal leader was unable to provide a plan for how or when they would get out.